Good morning. Hello. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Friday before the worst Thanksgiving of your lifetimes. That's right. We are coming into Thanksgiving 2020. Good morning, Brad Brown and the Producers Club. That's right. If you want to be a part of the conversation to make this show happen, check it out. AdamVersusTheMan.com. Right. Oh, now it's over there. Now it's over there. Now it's over there. Go to AdamVersusTheMan.com. Click on Patreon. Patreon.com/AdamVersusTheMan. $10 a month gets you into our Producers Club. You got to be a part of the behind the scenes conversation. You got to be in on the pre-show, the post-show, the during the show. This is how I talk to CJ and the core team during the show. This is it. I've got the Producers Club pulled up. It's an awesome conversation. It's a lot of fun. It's how we develop the content for the show. And man, we got a lot of links pulled up today. Yeah, CJ. CJ's excited for today's show. We're gonna take calls, and we've got a guest. We got a great guest today. Alan Stevo joins us to talk about his new book. What book might that be? Face Masks in One Lesson. Yeah, and I mean, you'd think it was like, hey, quick off the cuff book, like, hey, just get this out there, and oh yeah, we'll just have some political screen. This thing's like 370 pages. But Alan Stevo with this comes with an endorsement from our friend Walter Block. So if you haven't heard of Alan Stevo, at least you can hear Walter Block saying, what does Stevo's writing mean to me? All the world. Yes, with an endorsement for Walter Block, we have this most important work being discussed on the show today. And of course, if you want to see more guests, help us out. We've got a great guest booker with Marcus Pulis in Indiana. And we're taking suggestions. He's putting out requests. I know people want to see me interview Joe Rogan or debate Joe Rogan as statist Adam, perhaps. Yes. We had a great interview with Larry Sharp. Thanks to Peter Yapel from New York for making that happen on Wednesday. And today, I don't know what we're going to do for calls, but we're going to take calls. Just what are you looking forward to for Thanksgiving with your family? This one of the reasons that I was kind of distracted getting ready for today's show is there's a big conversation with my family coming together for Christmas at Thanksgiving, and we're pretty excited about this. And Sam and I are traveling and getting there, but there's still even when family wants to come together right now, there's been this specter of fear inserted into the conversation that's kind of unavoidable. And even for us, like for me, for Sam and I mean, we have no special considerations for COVID. I mean, I'm middle-aged, so I get to pretend that I'm young and healthy, no previous. Sam is actually young and has no particular reason to be concerned for COVID. But we don't want to give it to other people if we're asymptomatic carriers. Just anybody could be at any time. And like this is the fear that's like been raised, and it's just kind of unavoidable. If you are if you don't have any considerations for yourself, I encourage you to do what you can to avoid feeding into the fear, because it is so pervasive. And this fear, like it's not illegitimate, and this is part of what's dangerous about it. I mean, it's worse than 9/11, right? If this is a real threat, then they've got, and I believe it is. I believe that the coronavirus it's a real thing. It's a real threat to some people, and it needs to be taken seriously. And when government takes that, and when all the other conspirators who want to conspire to take advantage of the situation to rip us off, they all want us to be afraid. They want us to be paranoid and overly cautious, and it's a misdirection of attention. So my policy is you don't have to do anything special for me. I mean, if I see you out licking doorknobs, I'm probably going to say, I'm probably not going to want to shake hands with you. But other than that, like, I'm not asking for any kind of special considerations. But if anybody asks around me, I have to say, that might be dumb, that might be unfair. But if you want me to adhere to your standard of hygiene and in your presence for you to feel safe, then I'm going to respect that. I'm going to do that. And even this conversation here, even going, hey guys, look, everybody's freaking out and being paranoid, and let's be reasonable about this. Well, now all of our attention and energy is focused to, let's be reasonable about this thing that we never should have made a big deal out of in the first place. So yeah. Unless you're Gavin Newsom's family, Nancy Pelosi and all them, you probably have some reasonable concerns to figure out for Thanksgiving, or you're going to be at home alone. And unfortunately, you're not going to be able to hang out with Adam versus the Man and our team. We're taking next week off. So we got to make today's show count. We got a great guest. Hopefully, we'll have some great callers. We got a lot of great headlines. And of course, if you want to help support the show, share it right now. If you're watching live or not, if you're listening to the audio only production, doesn't matter. Share it because we need you. We need you to keep us doing what we're doing without an active and engaged audience. I mean, we're not spouting propaganda. We're not here playing the mainstream popularity contest. The message of the show is one that people are motivated to share because we know that it's essential for moving the world forward, for moving humanity forward, for making the world a better place. And right now, a lot of that is about tamping down government-induced fear and paranoia around the coronavirus. And it's sad, but that's the undeniable reality that we find ourselves in. So with that, what are you looking forward to for Thanksgiving? What do you want to say? What do you want to call it about? Open lines. Let's get the link in the comments on Facebook and YouTube and Periscope, Twitter, wherever else you may be watching this. And I don't know, we'll probably give away membership in the Producers Club. If somebody has a good call, we're just like, hey, man. Hey, babe. Oh, there's only one woman I'm allowed to call babe. Hello, dear. Would you like to be a member of the Producers Club? Is your call was that good? That's what we're looking for today. I think Mercedes wants to join us. I know she's got thoughts about Corona and Thanksgiving and travel and all of that. But I just got to remind everybody first that if you want to support the show another way at adamversustheman.com is merchandise. Check out the merchandise there. If you're part of the Producers Club, you get 15% off and free shipping for all of the amazing stuff that CJ has put together in our store there. Don't forget to support our affiliate as well, cigarfederation.com, where promo code ADAM10, ADAM10, gets you 10% off your order, and then you can join us for cigars and sunsets. Although I gotta say, we're skipping it today. We're gonna be on the road. We're driving. We're not. Should I do a quick live cigar from the car while we're driving? You're driving. Sam's gonna be driving. Are we doing? Yeah. All right. Well, just to be fun. We'll do it tonight. We'll do cigars and sunsets from the road. Yeah. Sam will be driving. I'll be in the passenger seat, smoking a cigar out the window. I don't know how long we're going to go, but if it's comfortable, if it's not too cold, we'll join you. We'll do cigars and sunsets tonight. 5. I don't know. So I guess when is sunset going to be in Montana this afternoon? We better ask the government because they might have changed the timing. And, oh, they did. It was daylight saving. See, we don't do that in Arizona. What do you have? 4:38. All right, so maybe 4 o'clock Pacific. That's Pacific or Mountain. That's Mountain time, local, and wow. All right, stand by. Have a cigar. Be ready to enjoy your Friday evening. We might be joining you on Periscope at about 4:30 p.m. Mountain today. Little cigars and sunsets from the road, just to keep up the tradition. So thank you to everybody for making that possible by going to Cigar Federation and using promo code ADAM10, ADAM10 for your order. And then, of course, Mercedes, if she's joining us, is going to be very disappointed if I don't point out that she is our debate manager and that we have this wonderful website set up. Not our website, but makethemdebate.com came along and provided a really cool mechanism for making debates happen. So I hope you'll check that out. And yeah, there's Adam Kokesh versus Joe Rogan. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna happen. I gotta be honest. Sorry, Mercedes. I don't think you're gonna see Kokesh versus Rogan. I don't think he's allowed to talk to me anymore. If I had to guess. But who knows? That might just be me being paranoid, like his friend Alex Jones, who he's not allowed. Oh, he is allowed to have on Alex Jones. Ooh. All right. So before we get to the headlines today, let's check in with Comment Jim Freedom. Mr. Freedom, how you doing today, brother? Coming to us from Phoenix, Arizona. Circle. spinning circle. What's up, Jim?
What's going on? Just enjoying the beautiful weather for the couple months we're gonna have it out here. I like to joke that everywhere else in the
Are you coming in
country.
choppy for anybody else, or is it just me?
Oh, I don't know. I guess I would have to ask CJ that. Am I still choppy?
No, Jim. As always, you and
No,
I have
you're
perfect
good.
internet.
I don't know.
Okay, we have perfect internet,
CJ,
Adam. It's your internet.
it's
Always.
mine.
Well,
But you
yeah.
guys are getting me
Hmm?
But you guys are getting me clear?
Yeah.
No, yeah. Now it's gonna come and go.
Okay.
It just depends on the traffic through your tower there.
I don't
You're
know why
probably
you're
not-
not hearing us very
You're
well.
probably not used to this good a cell service because Gardenia and Montana. I don't know. Maybe you got better service today.
No, I'm on the hotel Wi-Fi.
Oh God!
But
Never do a
we live
live
in a
show
third
from
world country known as the United Soviet States of America.
Well, I'll just.
What was that,
throw
CJ?
Oh boy.
Never do
All
the
right, let's
show
see some
from
comments on
hotel
screen.
Wi-Fi. That's what I said.
Well, I'm in Idaho.
This is
and
why.
the cell signal
That's
seems
why.
to be
Right
worse here.
there. Did you see that, Jim? Did you
What?
see that? He froze right there. Did you see that?
Oh, he didn't freeze on my
We
screen,
we
I don't
might
think.
get some cool Adam freeze frame shots for today's show, depending on the yeah. Like,
That's him, not a freeze frame.
all right. Well, we'll hope that the local sleep and Rob is internet's connection's good enough for the rest of the show and the interview. So we'll see.
The interview is what we should be concerning ourselves.
Correct.
I'm just gonna pull a Cartman here. I'm sorry, teacher, but I can't hit. Oh, excuse me, Cartman. It looks like your signal is frozen again. Oh no! Was that like my worst Eric Cartman impersonation
No, that
ever?
was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Am I still? Am I clear to you now?
Yeah,
Am I
no, you're
clear?
perfect.
Okay, good.
No, the reason this is especially funny for me, I know this is a dumb personal sidebar, but when I was in Iraq, my call sign was Cartman. And I'm fat, I'm big bone. It's been a while. All right.
I did
Jim,
not
what
know
do we
that.
have for comments?
Chalk that up to another thing I learned about Adam Kokesh. We got a bunch of good mornings. Don't be a status is our first commenter on the YouTubes. Good morning. Morning, y'all. RHSCTJ. Weasel Daughtery. Good morning. Happy Friday. Peter Yaples, glad you got to speak with whom he set you up with. Kareem M. Mays says, "This is Alex Jones. There ain't no virus. It's a globalist pot. Buy my pills."
Super male fatality.
Yep. And Don't Be a Status is talking to Craig in the chat. He says, "Tip of the cap, sir. Dare I assume gender in 2020?" They're just having fun in the comments, saying good morning to each other and everybody. Live from the hotel Wi-Fi, it's Adam versus the man.
All right, Jim. What are your comments, or what are your plans for Thanksgiving?
We are going to have all of our family over and enjoy a great dinner and do what we do every year. We are going to be. I haven't actually heard anything about Arizona making any ridiculous rules about Thanksgiving, had they?
Well,
I wish
they're
they
national
would,
now.
so I
Biden's
could be happy to break them.
Don't worry, we'll find plenty of federal laws for you to violate inadvertently, one way or another. I mean, every time you smoke cannabis, right?
Right.
Still a federal violation.
That's insane.
But now, Jim, in your family, is everybody like? Is there about any of this? Is there any confusion on standards of hygiene or separation or distancing, or is everybody just like, no, we're family, we're gonna do what we normally do?
Well, we have one group, I guess, that takes extra precautions, I'll say, but they're still. I think they're coming. They've missed a few in the past when they were doing a quarantine thing, being safe. But I think they're past all that now, and they're going to be showing up. And we're all just, we all know that we're all hygienically healthy, and we're all going to be fine. None of us are a danger to each other. I think we all just kind of understand that. I think.
Did you have that conversation? I mean, even if everybody like, hey, everybody, we're all just gonna act normal and not have any hygiene or virus paranoia at our Thanksgiving this year.
Yeah, no, not really. We haven't really had we have a group text amongst all of us. So if somebody just says we're going to do Thanksgiving here this year. Okay, I'll bring this, I'll bring that. No one really has brought up anything about Rona that I've noticed. I don't know. Not concerning, regarding whether or not we think we're going to get it or whether we're worried about it or whether we're going to, nobody here is going to be wearing a face mask during our Thanksgiving for any reason. And we won't be standing 6 feet apart from each other. Everyone's going to hug everybody, so it is what it is.
All right. Well, I want to hear from everybody else today, whether it's by calls or by comments. What are you dealing with for Thanksgiving, whether it's a virtual Thanksgiving, an in-person Thanksgiving, cross country. Like we're traveling quite a bit to get to our family. We're going. We drove Arizona, LA, Seattle, Williston, North Dakota, then to Cheyenne, Wyoming, and so we're going to be super spreaders. We figured we take all the Corona in Arizona, load it up in the truck, and then just kind of sprinkle it around the rest of the country because we're doing the right thing for herd immunity. It's science. I read an article about it. Yeah. I read an article from the CDC, and it quoted other government officials. So it was like extra powerful propaganda. CJ, what are your plans?
I'm going to Washington for Thanksgiving, but your feed sucks. This is just terrible. It's terrible. You said now. What does he sound? What does he sound like now, Jim?
Well, he just froze right there when he tried to adjust his phone.
Yeah.
It was okay for me for a while. It chopped out a little bit there for a second, but we're running it's a Gardenia throwback show. He's in town, but he brought his Gardenia internet with him.
Oh no!
I would just like to say that CJ and Adam, both of your feeds suck.
Oh shit!
No,
And the only one that is
got
good
the
for
button
me is
control.
Jim.
She's got
I'm
the
only
button
rock star
control.
in the group.
Wow, Mercedes used her button control powers.
I couldn't help it. You guys, like CJ, you're so glitchy and glitched, and Adam keeps freezing, and Jim's literally the only one that's not. I have to take off my glasses now.
Well, just for the record, I'm doing a speed test on my internet right now.
Well, it sucks.
Yeah, it's not mine. I'm over the StreamYard requirements.
Well,
I guess we haven't had one of these technical difficulty shows in a while.
yeah, no. So I mean, Mercedes is coming in funky for me.
Yeah, no, my internet's just fine. My internet's just fine. Yeah.
Wow, that's a good
Hey, everybody.
Yeah. Hey, everybody.
I get close to the same for download, but your uploads kicks ass.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I know it ain't this guy's
No,
internet.
You're
It's
there
not
at,
me.
like choppy now, and your voice kind of comes in and out. I can see you moving now, though, so I think we're all right for a few more minutes. Better hit a headline or two.
Now, you hear me now?
What? You think that this is gonna cover the news just fine? All right, Jim. Okay.
No, you're choppy now.
Yeah.
Now you're frozen.
No.
He was
Jim,
coming in and out, but now he's no good.
All right, Jim. How about this? You make the call when we go to the news.
No. I don't know what to do. Don't tell me to make no call for nothing. I'm the only one that
I
has
hope you
the
guys
signal here.
sound as
I feel like
I
at
hope
some-
I sound as cool to you guys as you sound to me.
You
Well,
sound like you got a pillow being held over your face. You're really muffled.
Yeah.
All right, Jim's gonna do this show and cover all the headlines, and I'm gonna make I'm just gonna I'm gonna live comment this time. I'll check back in with y'all to the end of the show. How about that? I'll make the smart ass comments this time.
That means I gotta look at the link.
Can anybody hear me? No.
Yeah, I can hear you
All right.
now.
That means that you need to be able to pull up
Jim.
comments, doesn't it?
Okay,
Hey,
you do the news,
hey,
Jim.
hey, Jim, you got this. You got this, because it's Jim versus the man.
That's way too long. Hello and welcome to Jim versus the Man. I'm sorry, I was blank there for a minute because I'm trying to load links that Adam had in the Producers Club to cover today, and I'm not sure where I should start. So I'm actually not even looking at myself while I'm filling in space right now because I'm clicking links as fast as I can. This is multitasking. You're witnessing multitasking right now in front of your eyes. You should take notes and learn how to do this. I've already got 4 tabs up. I'm only going to get a couple more, then I'll start talking about it and reading it with you. And I don't even know what stories he was going to cover today, so it's going to be a surprise for both of us. The first thing, Cuomo warns law enforcement they have to implement his Thanksgiving COVID restrictions. That's going to be a good one. We're going to get into that. Can't wait. Okay, so this New York's Governor Andrew Cuomo has warned law enforcement that they have to implement his COVID restrictions over Thanksgiving. He's warned them that they must implement it. They have to. Mr. Cuomo had faced a revolt from a string of upstate sheriffs who said they would not they would not have officers implement the rules that bans more than 10 people at family gatherings. Quote, I don't believe as law enforcement officer you get to pick and choose which laws you enforce, said Mr. Cuomo in response to the criticism. That's interesting. Let's take a moment with that. I do believe as a law enforcement officer, I do believe as a human being, it is your obligation to pick and choose which laws to enforce, because if it's an immoral or unethical law, you are not to enforce it. That is your human requirement. So screw you, Cuomo, just for that. Back to the article. My advice on Thanksgiving, don't be a turkey. This guy. Mr. Cuomo also said that it was his belief that the state would see a large virus spike after Thanksgiving and urged residents to follow the rules. We're going to see a large virus spike. They're going to tell us there was a large virus spike after Thanksgiving, regardless of what we do. So, the politician announced last week that indoor get-togethers should be limited to just 10 people during the holidays. In response, at least 4 sheriffs in Erie, Fulton, Saratoga, and Washington counties said they would not have deputies enforce the rule. With regard to the Thanksgiving executive order, the Fulton County Sheriff's Office will not be enforcing it against their county residents, wrote Richard Glardino on the Fulton County Sheriff's Office Facebook page. Frankly, I'm not sure it could sustain a constitutional challenge in court for several reasons, including your house is your castle. They're making these arguments all over the place, and I believe it was in California also. They were where Newsom was breaking the rules. They were saying the same things. They're saying it's not even constitutional. I believe, what was it? I wish I had the article on this one, but I just read something recently that was saying that they banned him from making further executive orders regarding people's health. They have effectively taken the governor and said he's not allowed to write any more executive orders about rules and regulations for the COVID things. And I wish I had the article so I could quote that, but that's what it's come to. It's the infighting is crazy and getting obvious. What else? The story continues. Is there anything else worth mentioning? Michigan has banned indoor gatherings of more than 2 households, while Vermont and Washington State have barred indoor gatherings outside immediate households. Can't believe it. So again, like I said, I guess personally, this is what Adam might say. Do what you feel is best in your own personal circumstance. If you and your family aren't worried about it and would rather get together because you know that it's not genuinely a health threat, then do that and get together and enjoy your Thanksgiving. Don't change a thing. If your family is worried about it and somebody doesn't want to participate, don't shame them. Don't punish them for being confused enough to not want to participate this time. I guess use love and compassion and understanding and logic and reason to talk to them and try to get them to understand. But we have enough division in the world without families tearing each other apart over this corona crap too. So if you have a family member that's being overly cautious about it, let them be overly cautious about it. And just like I said, every chance you get, use your words, use your voice to educate them and give them your opinion, and listen to them, listen to their concerns, and just talk to them, giving them compassionate ear. And hopefully that's probably more likely to turn around and get them to see your side than just hating on them, telling them they're stupid. Yeah, Craig Doherty, I need to get a real mic. Is my audio not that great? We need to get Adam a solid internet connection and Jim a real mic. Yeah, maybe he just means so I don't have to hold it in front of my mouth like this. Because usually when it's down here, obviously people have complained. So that's why I hold it way up here in front, so that we can hear me. CJ, is my audio? Tell me in the private chat. It must be acceptable. Obviously good enough, I think. Okay, so we covered that article. We'll move on. Let's see what we got from WPTA21.com. K9 bites woman after she leads police on 100-mile-per-hour pursuit. This should be interesting. Let's read a little bit further and see. Those are some gruesome, oh my God, pictures. Fort Wayne, Indiana. A 19-year-old woman who police say led them on a high-speed chase throughout northeast Fort Wayne is recovering after a police canine bit her. Trinity Fleming, and 19, is facing resisting arrest, possession of needles, 5 counts of leaving the scene of an accident, reckless driving, never having a license, and additional infractions. Wow. I wonder why this is in the news, what angle Adam was going to be taking with this, because it just kind of seems like a horrible situation. About 12:30 a.m. Monday, Fort Wayne police tried to stop a car on I-69 near the US 24 and Jefferson Exchange. Authorities said they believed the driver was going to pull over, but then the car sped off. The pursuit continued through neighborhood streets in the northeast side of town at speeds over 100 miles an hour. Officers used stop sticks to slow her down, but say she continued driving with flat tires through some yards. Police say eventually the young woman ditched the car and hid from officers in a nearby bush. And once police found the empty vehicle, officers let the canine loose to track her down. That's where the dog comes in. Oh, here's a post on Facebook from Jennifer Fleming showing the pictures here of the aftermath of this dog attack. It looks like the dogs just attacked her face. You would think that the dogs would be trained to attack arms and legs to disable, but I don't know. I'm not really educated on that. In particular, Jim sounds like he's talking on a tin can attached to a string. Acceptable though. So okay, well, fair enough. It is what it is. And we have a caller. Oh, that's good. I love callers. Brad Brown. Let's get our caller on here. Hi, Brad. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you today? Jim,
good.
taking the reins.
Man. Yeah.
Right? No, I figured, hey, well, if I could fill some dead air for you, I was happy to call in.
Appreciate that. What's on your mind? You got a better mic than me, sounds like, too. So.
Oh, yeah. I got my setup for streaming and whatnot. But no, yeah, I was just calling in. We usually do stuff with my wife's family for the holidays. So yeah, I don't think there's been any objections within the family, kind of like your situation.
Oh yeah,
Nobody's made a
nobody's
gripe.
complaining or saying
Yeah.
that you can't come or anything.
Yeah.
Has anybody requested or even asked if anybody's been tested or anything like that, or is everybody just kind of not even addressing it at all?
Yeah, I mean, well, they at least they know that my wife, she's a nurse, so she's getting tested like every week. But
Oh wow.
yeah, that's about as far as it goes, though. So, I don't know what the majority of people's thoughts on that are, but at least for my kind, it's not it's
Right.
not really been a thing. Because
I see you're in a cold area there. Where are you calling from?
Kansas City.
Kansas City. All right.
Yeah.
Are there any restrictions going on there? Any official rules or anything regarding Thanksgiving?
No, they just go county by county as far as like the masks in businesses, but there hasn't been anything that I've seen from Parsons that says don't do this or we're gonna fine you or whatever. But it was yesterday I think it was Minnesota. Their governor was like, if you're caught without a mask, you're gonna get like a $1,500 fine. And then they said if they saw anyone saying I'm gonna do it anyways, they were gonna try to charge them $25,000. So things are getting ridiculous. Yeah,
that is pretty ridiculous. I'd love to see them try to enforce that one.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
you
it's
know.
just it's unacceptable for sure. There shouldn't be any reason for that. Yeah, just with Adam, I watched yesterday, talking about, actual scientific studies on the efficacy of masks. And once you wake up to that the science says that, well, in some instances, these masks were causing a higher viral transmission as opposed to not wearing a mask, then all that's left at the end of that is just more the government overreach.
For sure.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to chime in and say happy Thanksgiving. You guys are my morning ritual now, so
Nice.
I'm not gonna see you next
I'm
week.
glad you could call in, man. We really appreciate that.
Absolutely, my pleasure, Jim.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I'm thankful for good internet right now. Otherwise, there would not be a show going on, right? Okay, Vincent Willis was saying I didn't see his comments, so I want to go back up and see what he posted here. I need to give someone a hug and receive one. I'll probably be alone on Thanksgiving. Oh, I am very sorry to hear that, Vincent. Damn it. I wish I lived close. I'd give you a hug. Maybe Adam will pass by you on his road trips. I don't know where you live, but he would gladly give you a hug. I'm sure of it. The StreamYard link is out there. If anybody else wants to call in, we appreciate Brad. That was pretty cool. So you can tell us what your plans are or how your area is reacting to all of this. I'm just going through some comments here. Or I guess, wasn't Adam supposed to be taking control of comments? I thought he said he was going to, or at least saying some comments. I don't know where he's at. We have a caller. We have another caller? You just said that.
Hi,
We have a
me.
caller,
It's me.
Mercedes.
It's me.
What's
Hi.
going on?
Oh,
Welcome. What are you doing for Thanksgiving?
We're having a Zoomsgiving. My family's not meeting because my grandparents are super at risk of dying and stuff, like on a normal basis. So, like, even during a normal flu season, we have the protocol of if you're sick, you don't get to come to holidays. But I generally work holidays, so this is the first holiday season I'm not working, so it's kind of BS. But at the same time, my stepmom has COVID actively. She has hold on. She has I believe double lung pneumonia, bronchitis, and a sinus infection. She is really, really, really sick. She's a teacher at the high school locally. I'm in Nebraska. We don't have a mask mandate by the state. The governor's threatening to sue cities that enact a mask mandate. I spoke out against the mask mandate our city just enacted. I'm pro-mask too, because I used to wear a fitted respirator when I welded and stuff. I understand how this works. Anyway, so we're having a Zooms giving because my stepmom's house is quarantined. My dad, they can't come play. They're super sick. Anyway, my grandparents don't want to come out. My mom lives in a different town. My other sister, all my sisters live in different towns. So I'm going to feed the elderly, being my grandparents. I'm literally just going to cook Thanksgiving for them and take it to them. And anybody else that is willing to risk my germs to come over, I'm going to have like a live Friendsgiving and Zoomsgiving with the family. But I've also been quarantining since I got back from Arizona so that I could not be a risk to anybody and know that I'm not sick. But Cora's also had a fever for the last week. So we've been dealing with that. And I don't know if it's from teething or the flu, because it's not COVID. I've had COVID. It's not COVID. But
How do
she's
you
definitely
know? I mean, some people could have it without showing any symptoms. So
That's
any
true.
fever could,
But
any
we
fever in the world could either be the flu or COVID, and you wouldn't be
or
able to tell
teething
the
or the flu. But the last time I got tested for COVID, we had COVID, and the symptoms were not this. This is more of I've had influenza. It feels like influenza. I'm gonna go with influenza. I don't get the flu shot. I'm not dead, so it doesn't matter. And that's our holiday plans. We don't get to play, and we only have like 17 ICU beds, so I'm not gonna actually like leave my house and risk getting hurt because I don't want to die from like something stupid and preventable because other people are in the hospital because they're sick. But yeah, that's what we're doing. We're very
Yes.
lame.
Well, hey, you do what you got to do. You know, that's like I said. Everyone has their own comfort level, and as long as you meet that comfort level,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, and
what's it to anybody else?
being our family, we're germaphobes, like anyway. So this holiday season isn't unnormal to us. So I feel bad for everybody who has to like change their lives and not do what they want to do because I do wish that we were gathering together, but at the same time, it's not the end of the world. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and go. I'm gonna remove myself from the conversation.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll get back to trying to wing it. Let's read some comments here. Craig Doherty, everyone is at a different place in their life and a different health situation. Be kind and compassionate. Reach out to those that are shut in and alone. Happy Thanksgiving. Yep, I agree with that sentiment 100%. Don't be a statist. GI Mary Jane will be live streaming a Thanksgiving thing. I think it's worth checking in with her if we can. Yep, I follow GI Mary Jane, and I'm sure I will be checking out everybody's live streams on Thanksgiving. Might run one myself. Who knows? We'll see. But I'll definitely check hers out and give the old hello on their live stream. So I think CJ is going to be right back, but he's already got the other article title laid up for me so I can read it. First, South Australia. Well, let me go here. South Australia scraps lockdown after lie discovered. What lie is that? Oh, it was already on there. Read it. Man linked to pizza bar outbreak told contact tracers he had only been there for takeaway when he worked at the outlet. Okay, so because someone lies, I need CJ to be here to scroll down the rest of the thing for you guys to read along with it, but I can read it. So we can figure out how this lie leads to South Australia scrapping lockdowns. South Australia is to lift a strict 6-day coronavirus lockdown early, saying the curbs were imposed after a man who tested positive misled contact tracers about his activities. The shock announcement came just 2 days after the state government ordered people to stay at home and closed businesses to combat what it thought was a highly contagious outbreak of the Rona. The state premier, Stephen Adelaide, that a man at a pizza bar linked to the outbreak had deliberately misled contact tracers, telling them he had only bought a pizza there when he had actually worked several shifts at the outlet alongside another worker who tested positive. The lie led the authorities to assume that the man had caught the virus during a very short exposure, suggesting the strain was highly contagious. Their story didn't add up. We pursued them. We know that they lied. Okay. Okay. That's interesting. Okay. So they're saying that he said that he only got a pizza there once when he actually worked several shifts. So their argument is that if he went there for only one shift and caught it, then that means that the virus is super spreadable. But if he worked there a bunch and caught it, then I mean, to me, that scientifically that doesn't prove any more or less of the transmittability of it. But I guess they're satisfied to get rid of their COVID restrictions because it's. I mean, if that's your proof that you go with to tell yourself that it's not as dangerous, what made you think it was dangerous in the first place if you believe stuff that. To say I am fuming about the actions of this individual is an absolute understatement. This selfish action of this individual have put their whole state in a very different situation. Why? I wonder why the guy. Okay, so the guy said he had only bought one pizza there because he was scared, probably thinking if he told them he worked several shifts there, they would assume he has Rona. I'm still getting linked to the outbreak. I did a little bit because I'm looking for the place where it says that this guy who lied actually had the coronavirus. I'm getting confused here. Exercise. This is a tweet that was from Stephen Marshall about it. Exercise outside of the home is now permitted and can be done with members of the same household. All other restrictions under the stay-at-home direction will remain until midnight Saturday. Until midnight Saturday. Like I can't wrap my mind around the way that they're just so arbitrarily throwing these times and orders out there. I mean, just look at it. Exercise outside of the home is now permitted. Oh, gee, thanks, Dick. I mean, are you serious? What are you even talking about? How did they seriously ban people from exercising outside of the home? Apparently they did, because now he's coming out and saying it's now permitted, which insinuates that it was recently not permitted and can be done with members of the same household. You weren't even allowed to exercise outside with members of your same household. But all other restrictions will remain until midnight Saturday. Apparently, midnight Saturday is when Corona stops existing, and I think the Corona is going to go find its beach and go on vacation from this area. So from 12:01 Sunday, restrictions will be eased. It will be eased. So it's not even going to be. It'll be eased. They're going to, okay, you can go 5.5 feet now instead of 6. Effective immediately. This is what the picture, their little graphic shows about the restrictions. Leaving the house for exercise with other members of your household is permitted. People required to quarantine must still complete their 14 days of isolation, and they're watching. Don't know. Restrictions to be further eased from 12:01 a.m. 22 November. They're teasing. I mean, how is that even possible that you can tease out the easing of the restrictions? You know what I mean? Oh, we don't think that it's going to be necessary after a couple days. What sense does that make? It's absolutely ridiculous. Adam, comments in here. Jim is killing it. Hey, appreciate that. I haven't been holding my mic, so I hope my audio has been acceptable, within acceptable standards. I think that's pretty much all we need to get to on this article. I mean, it's absolutely insane. I already lost my train of thought, anyways. Okay, let's continue reading it.
Hey Jim, real quick, we do have a caller backstage, but just to remind anybody when they call in, you at least have to give access to your microphone for permissions when you log in. So Steven, I see you backstage, but you got to do that. I don't know if he was getting that message for the way it's going. So, but yeah, we do have a caller trying to call in though, Jim.
Okay, cool. Appreciate that. It's a good thing you told me because I wasn't even seeing down there. It's so much different when you're not the comment guy because I usually see everything that's happening coming, who comes in, who comes out backstage. But when I'm just focusing on the news, you miss all that crap. That's funny. Okay. Oh yeah, this private chat too. Okay, CJ. Well, let's see. I'm going to breeze through these headlines and just see which one sparks our interest. The Reason, from Reason.com, Alaskans approve shift to ranked choice voting. Okay, we can see what that one's about. Reading further, St. Louis residents agree to shift approval to voting for local primaries. Alaska will be joining Maine. Okay, so someone else already did it, and allowing its voters to rank candidates for office rather than having to settle for just one. This confuses me a little, but let's keep reading. The full numbers are finally in for Alaska Ballot Measure 2, which will implement ranked choice voting in the state. It has passed barely with 50.6% of the voters' approval. Ranked choice voting allows citizens to rank candidates for office in order of their support. In order to win, the top candidate must receive more than 50% of the vote. If he or she does not, the candidate who received the fewest votes is eliminated and the vote is recounted. For every voter who selected the eliminated candidate, now their second choice is counted as their vote. This continues until one candidate passes the 50% threshold and that candidate is deemed the winner. Wow. That's interesting. Let's keep reading. Ranked choice voting allows greater room for third-party and independent candidates to draw votes without citizens feeling like they have to, quote, throw away their vote. It doesn't necessarily change election outcomes, even with 3 opponents. Republican Maine Senator Susan Collins got 51.1% of the vote on election day to keep her seat, and so the state's ranked choice mechanisms didn't apply. But it can change, and on occasion has changed, results if voters are too lukewarm on a front runner. In Alaska, Measure 2 will implement ranked choice voting for state and congressional offices, and it also changes how the primaries work. They'll be shifting to an open primary where voters can choose among candidates regardless of political affiliation. The top 4 will then advance to the November election, where ranked choice selection will determine the winner. This is an intriguing loosening of the top 2 primary system in the states like California and Washington, where only 2 candidates, regardless of party, make it to the November votes, cutting ballot access for third-party candidates and sometimes even leaving voters only with a choice between 2 people of the same party. Okay, all right. That's interesting. Honestly, I don't want to speak no more on this one or even give an opinion because I don't know that much about it. I've never actually even heard of this ranked choice. Maybe I'm not, in the know on it or whatnot, but I'm sure my gut tells me I'm sure there's a way that it can be subverted or corrupted or used against us. But maybe it's a good thing. I don't know. I'd actually like to hear Adam's take on that and why he had this in the list because that's something I don't know anything about. So we'll move on from that story. Wall Street Journal, BuzzFeed to acquire HuffPost and stock deal with Verizon Media. That's just, as Adam points out, every day the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. That's just them making moves that help themselves and screw the rest of us in one way or another that I probably don't even understand. So moving on, let's see, Yahoo News. Trump supporters join Alex Jones for Stop the Steal protest at Georgia's state capitol. Trump supporters are joining Alex Jones, or did Alex Jones? There's a video here too. It's 1 minute and 25 seconds long. Why don't you go ahead and play that video there, CJ, for the audience here? It's only 1.5 minutes.
4 days. Yeah. on, Georgia! We're not going to let them steal this great state. We're going to drive around twice and come back. All I want to say is you Info Warriors are awesome. And we call on people from all over the South and all over the country to come here, culminating on Saturday with another huge rally like we had in D.C. And you guys are, for all of years, the first to be here, and you're awesome. I'll be with you here in a few minutes. Thank you, Alex. Thank you. And must declare an emergency session. The governor must have the legislature take control and oversight as massive fraud is being found all over. Everywhere. And we're here to tell them they're not stealing our republic from us. Yeah! USA!
Okay, so I'll say this. My initial thought about this, I've been watching feeds. Ford Fisher's one of my favorites. He's been out there watching all these marches, the Million MAGA March. And I was telling this to my friend the other day. I'm kind of surprised that there's not actually a million MAGAs out there marching around and stirring up stuff about this. I guess I'm just surprised. I expected more because, I don't know if they officially they got robbed, but I don't know. I just expected more. Let's say that. They're calling it a Million MAGA March, but I don't think there's actually a million out there. And the second thing about that video, it must be nice to have, the equipment to drive around in a big bad truck like that and blast on your loudspeaker. But Alex Jones, Adam has pointed out how he's made the switch somewhere from enlightening people about specific things to jumping on the Trump train and all the. Okay, let's see. I've been seeing a lot on my Facebook feeds about the corruption and all the Trumpophiles are legitimately pissed because of all this corruption and cheating and lying and all that. But my argument has always been like that's basically the way it's always been. Now it feels a little bit different this time. I'll give you that, but it I just wish they could get to the next step in realizing that their red flavored statism isn't the answer. It's not like they're fighting so hard against the corruption of the state, but it falls short because it's asking for the state as the answer, if that makes sense. They're saying, "Oh, everything's so corrupt, so corrupt. I want this overturned so my guy can get into office." Your guy hasn't changed anything. He's done the opposite of everything he said. He never listened. He didn't drain the swamp. He didn't do none of that stuff that he swore. The lock her up thing. He didn't lock her up. He didn't do, just like Obama before him, didn't close down Guantanamo. I don't know. I guess I'm just preaching to the choir right now. You guys all know this stuff, and Adam repeats it every single day. So let's move on from this garbage. What was it? Let's see what else we got. Boy, Q13 Fox Seattle boy born without a brain lives to be 12 years old, dies peacefully. How is that? This is just categorized under the amazing news, I suppose. Shreveport, Louisiana, a boy who lived until he died peacefully at the age of 12 defied all odds after being born without a brain. That's possible? I didn't realize it was. Did they have him on? Oh man. According to KSLA, Trevor Judge Waltrip, Falcourt. Sorry about that. Trevor Judge Waltrip was born on Christmas Eve of 2001. Wow, what a birth date as well, huh? With just a brain stem and that thing. He had a rare condition in which his brain's cerebral hemispheres were completely missing, replaced with only cerebrospinal fluid. The condition has no known cure for treatment. That is, wow. Was unable to communicate and was also blind, but he did have a heartbeat and was able to breathe on his own. He could respond to some forms of stimulus. The boy lived with the help of a feeding tube and therapists who stimulated his muscles and joints. He's so alert and hates to be alone, his mother, Elizabeth, told KSLA. Originally, doctors were unsure if Waltrip would be able to make it past just 12 weeks old, since babies with the condition usually don't live to be born. But he defied the odds, nearly living to be a teenager. Wow, that's an amazing story. Heart wrenching, really. That must be something. Well, okay. So let's see. That was Q13. This one is New York Post. Scientists splice human genes into monkey brains to make them bigger and smarter. Scientists have combined human genes with the monkey's brain. I mean, okay. I mean, I'm okay with science. Okay, I love science and learning new things and stuff like that. But I feel like there's, well, I don't know. Let's go on and see what it says there. What could go wrong? Scientists made monkey brains double in size by splicing them with human genes in a Planet of the Apes style experiment. During the study, Japanese and German researchers injected a gene called all that stuff, which directs stem cells in the human brain into the dark matter of marmoset fetuses. According to a release about the research, they found that the primate's brain soon became more human-like by developing larger and more advanced neocortexes, the area that controls cognition and language, according to the study. According to the images released by researchers, the modified monkey brains nearly doubled in size at around 100 days into gestation. Wow, that's interesting. 100 days. I wonder if anything's going to come of this. When was this? I assume this is a recent article that we're looking at. I didn't check the date. November 19th. Yeah, yesterday. Okay. And they have, we found indeed that the neocortex of the common marmoset brain was enlarged and the brain surface folded. The neocortex is the newest part of the brain to evolve. One sign that ARHGAP11B may have caused brain growth during human evolution, the researcher said. Ultimately, scientists opted to abort the monkey fetuses due to unforeseeable consequences. What? The study conducted by they got scared that the monkeys were going to be Planet of the Apes monkeys. That's what happened. The study conducted by the Planck Institute of Molecular Cell Biology and Genetics in Germany and the Central Institute for Experimental Animals in Japan is reminiscent of the 2011 flick Rise of the Planet of the Apes, in which a race of genetically modified primates turn against humans and take over the earth. That's a phenomenal movie line as well. If you haven't seen those, watch all the old ones too. The Planet of the Apes, Rise of the Apes, all that whole series. It's very fun to watch. Interesting. But the newer ones, like I don't remember all the names of them, but the newer ones where they start showing this part of the storyline, not the older ones that came out in the 80s, 90s, or whatever. That's the older ones, which are still great movies. But the newer ones go over. There's a new one. I can't remember the name of it, but it goes over this specific era. I guess that was the one they were talking about probably in 2011. The must be Rise of the Planet of the Apes. It's the one where it's set in today's time, or it might have been a decade ago or so, because that's when it came out. It was set in the time it was released, and they explained how the monkey got smarter, and it showed the development of the monkey getting smarter until he breaks himself out into the. Yeah, I think that's probably the one right there. I think it has Mark Wahlberg in it. The one I'm thinking of. Was that Franco? Oh yeah, this is it. Yep, yeah, you're right. Wahlberg was in a different one. I think it's after this in the storyline. But anyways, great movies. Who knows if something like that could possibly even happen? I mean, well, it seems to follow logic. I mean, it seems extreme, and it seems like something that would most likely take more time than like our lifetimes to develop. Like if we were, I mean, who knows though? Life is weird like that. But my base guess, I guess, would be if we started messing with these monkeys' brains, then in our kids or our kids' lifetimes, it would take before the monkeys became cognitive enough to challenge the human race. Adam says the guest is coming on soon, so that'll be fun. I'm going to dig this interview. That'll be fun. We haven't checked in with comments in a while. Let's scroll up and see. Yeah, Planet of the Apes. Yep. James Franco. You guys are all following along. I don't need to explain nothing. Explain some people, Craig, are mad. That's funny. We are eventually going to get Planet of the Apes meets Terminator. Man, that would be that. Well, yeah, that would be interesting. Um, I don't know. Well, I mean, well, the Terminators are sending people back in time. I didn't ever see the Planet of the Apes doing that, so I think Terminators may have the edge on the apes. They'll just go back and stop the ape from becoming intelligent. That'll be the new Terminator. Oh, that could be a movie plot. You should work on that, Craig. Right, start a script up. Have the Planet of the Apes mixed with Terminators. Have the Terminators go back to stop the Planet of the Apes from happening. That'd be funny. I hate every ape I see, from Chipman A to Chipman Z. Chimpman A.
Unfortunately, Adam's wrong, Jim. Sorry to interrupt. The guest is going to be canceling today because we authenticate our guests using YouTube and Facebook. So I had forgot that we do that. So apparently there's no other way to get them on to the StreamYard. So my apologies to all those involved. Maybe he can reschedule and we can get him on a better day with Adam.
Okay, yeah, interesting. So you can't join any other way. I know
no, we authenticate our guests. I completely forgot that we do authentication. So that way we make sure that the guest that's joining us is who they say they are.
Yeah, well, I mean, even that could be got around, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't have it set up to do it that way. I would have to do a bunch of testing to see if we could take calls outside of authentication between Facebook and YouTube. But I guess that's just a feature built into StreamYard to make sure your guests are who they say they are. So, but yeah, so you can do whatever you want on Jim versus the Man, though. So I don't know how. Boy. We still got 57 more minutes. Is comment Adam Freedom gonna at least call in or try to?
I was gonna say, if he couldn't run the show, you think he'll be able to call in without a problem? I mean,
I don't know. I mean,
sure he'll try. He's been commenting here and there, and just trying to.
Let me see here.
Feel better.
I think Adam's saying to try to change the settings here. Maybe. Let me see if there's a way I can do that. And Jim, you can just give me a minute to see if that'll work.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's see. Don't be a status. My friend has monkeys. They always throw shit at me when I look at them. Monkeys suck, except gibbons. Gibbons look pretty cool. Yeah, I've never known any monkeys personally. Like, I've never had any friends that had them or been able to have poop thrown at me, but I have heard that before. All I have is my wonderful little luck dragon. Let's get him on the show. This is my luck dragon, Falcor.
All right, Jim. I don't know if he's going to cancel still or not, but I did take down that authentication, so... I'm getting like a lot of texts. I deeply apologize. Well, for the yeah. So I mean, again, if he wants to try to refresh, click in, and if he wants to come on today or reschedule, it's up to him really. and he's excited to come on. So I mean, it's just it is what it is, I guess. I mean, I mean, I'd prefer we keep authentication on for all obvious reasons. But if a guest is that adamant that he should not have to have YouTube or that, I mean, at least we can plan ahead. You know?
Yeah, we can try to figure something else out. I would have thought it was. I always wondered when I took over the show if the guests that were planned would cancel or reschedule because they wanted to come on Adam versus the man. Not, they signed up to come on Adam versus the man. They want to talk to Adam Kokesh.
Well, I mean, Adam is in the comments right now. He's technically here. He's just Adam versus the Wi-Fi is the show today.
Interviewed by Jim Freedom.
I know it's different being interviewed. Well, no, I think I'd be interviewed by Jim Freedom.
Well, of course you would, but if you didn't know me at all and you didn't run a show with me and if you agreed to go on somebody you like's show and then you show up that day and it's like, here's somebody completely different that you have no idea and have never talked to or met or done anything before, that'd be strange to you, wouldn't it?
No, because I've given so many interviews in my life and talked to so many people that it's nothing to me. If it's about preaching a message and a on-time message that needs to get out there right away, I would talk to anybody and their mother. So, I mean, really, in all honesty, it wouldn't matter. If I was the guest and my message was that important and I knew the host that I was trying to be interviewed was watching, I mean, and I was active and engaged in their audience, then I would, you see. So again, it's not as it's different, I guess, different perspective. So. But yeah, I don't know where he was gonna go with the next link, Jim. Another reason why I came on, it's the Libertarian Cannabis Collective.
I just saw that. I was just re-clicking. I got the next 3 lined up already, and he wants to advertise the Libertarian Cannabis Collective. Apparently.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting buzz. Trying again. Oh, we might actually have a guest. So, I mean, if we can get him on, I mean, it's up to him. I mean, every option.
Good picture. Look at the second picture down on that.
Just want to promote this because it was in the chat. So,
I like the picture of the guy sitting in jail, Mark counting all of his days, reading a paper that says marijuana is now okay.
Yeah,
that makes a very solid point right there.
Yeah, no,
he's
cheers.
Sitting there counting the days while he's reading about how what he's in there for is perfectly fine now outside of his cage. That's beyond a level of fucked up I can't even describe.
Yeah, Jim, I hear you.
Hey, our guest did join us.
Sweet. Well, he's got both of us here.
That. He probably created a Facebook page.
No, I hope he didn't. Oh, God, please tell me you didn't.
I'll bet he did. Hey, Alan, how you doing? It's nice to meet you, my friend. My name is Jim Freedom. I don't know if you've been following what's going on today. Adam had some technical difficulties. So I'm here to fill in for him and give you the platform to get your message out. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear us?
The internet's a little unstable, it sounds like.
It's been all day.
Yes, very much so. I can hear you good, though. As Adam would say, Lima Charlie. I don't know if there's a delay or not. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you, but it's choppy. Let me leave the studio, come right back in, okay?
Okay, fair enough. Okay, while we do that, Don't Be a Status points out Falcor doesn't have any legs. He has legs. They're just super short. Super cool pup. He got mine to play and mine doesn't play. Yeah, he's a player. He's only 7.5 months old now, so he's a puppy, and he's actually needs to go outside here as soon as possible.
Hey, just for the record, Jim, it says in the Producers Club chat that by Adam himself, he would be interviewed by Jim Freedom. So, I mean, just to put that out there.
I didn't know. I guess I haven't been
Dang.
watching the Producers Club. That's another failure.
Yeah. No, see, now that you're seeing all these responsibilities.
Oh, there's Adam.
Yeah, there he is. He's somewhere in the producers club, but then if you really wanted to like private chat him, you just click his name and then like just directly message him. Just go around both of us and Mercedes and the guest booker and all that. So I mean, really, I mean, you could really keep Adam busy if you really wanted to. So I see the guest trying to click in. So well, yeah, I don't know, Jim. What say you? I guess, hey, real quick, I could tell everybody what I'm doing for Thanksgiving. With my family, we're going out to Seattle. We're not giving a shit about the social distancing because who gives a shit about social distancing? And I'm just I'm ready to see family, man. Ready to have a week off. Ready to eat some turkey and enjoy my statist holiday with my loved ones and dine in those guilty pleasures. I'm gonna go travel, see some sights in Washington. Maybe go through Squamish Falls or something, or go up to some sightseeing. So other than that, spend time with family, friends, anybody I can see while I'm out there, and I leave tomorrow morning. So it's crazy because Adam is gonna be like 4 or 5 hours that way, but we're gonna like miss each other time wise, travel wise, and event wise. So otherwise,
Are you flying or driving?
No, we're driving. So
Driving. You got chains for your tires?
I'll get them if I need them. I just bought brand new. I bought the nicest tires you can get for a truck. I bought some pretty nice tires.
When I was going through Oregon and Washington up there, a lot of places during the wintertime when it's snowing, you have to have chains. They will pull you over all the traffic on the interstate.
We'll buy chains if we need chains. We'll get there if we need them. I'm not going to worry about it until I get there. If I need them, I'll buy them. But yeah, so whenever our producers club say, hey, you guys, hit some promos, I'm just going to let everybody know, go to adamversustheman.com and click on our shop. And, if you're in our producers club and you're one of our better patrons, you get 15% off and free shipping. And, I really do enjoy this. Where was the one that I wanted to talk? You brought it up earlier. There it is. If you need a hug from Adam Kokesh, I'm sure that if you bought one of these Hug Life shirts and you needed a hug, if you saw you wearing one of these, he would totally give you a hug. So go ahead and help support the show today, before this holiday, and spread that freedom and liberty cheer this way. So that's my promo for the day. Also, real quick side project, if you want to help out in the Producers Club on making some advertising for Adam versus the Man, feel free to reach out to me. I think it could help our debate manager, Mercedes, out if she had some commercial content that she could put out to the public. And that's all I got. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday, Jim. I am off for now.
Next Wednesday. That's not this coming Wednesday, but the Wednesday after that. I know we're taking this whole next week off.
Yeah, no, we're taking, this is the last show until Monday, the 30th.
Right, okay. I thought you said next Wednesday.
Did I say Wednesday? Shit. It could be the legal marijuana. It could be that. It could be.
We're bringing the show back on a Wednesday?
It could very well be the legal marijuana.
Speaking of legal marijuana,
she's got the button.
There's a comment. There's a comment. Since Adam's not doing comments, and I normally do comments when you're not here, Jim, there's a comment I want you to hear.
I seen it. I was going to get to it.
Thank you. That's all I
no,
wanted.
I don't have a favorite strain of marijuanas. I do not have a favorite strain. I love them all.
Jim does not discriminate. No,
I do not discriminate. I literally do not even ask when they sometimes they'll say, "Oh, this is this and this." I literally say, "I don't care." I usually don't say I don't care. I just say, "Oh, that's cool." But inside, I'm telling myself, "I don't care." Let's put it this way: I have never once been like, "Oh, this is such and such. Here, I don't want that." You know what I mean? I've never once said, "No, I don't want this" because of the name of it. I can look at it and I can tell that if it's going to be smokable and decent if it's not freaking dirt weed.
Yeah. So
know what I
Adam,
mean?
yeah, right. So Adam in the producers club is saying
Indica
that
over sativa, though. Sorry, last thing he just asked.
no. Very valid point. Very valid point. Yeah. This is an important guest and topic today. I'm trying to see him log in. He popped off. So I don't. I mean, when he comes on, we'll see if his internet's good. Maybe. Like, I think at this point, Jim. I mean, how many news stories do you want to do? How long is Jim versus the Man today? This is your show. You going all 2 hours?
Well, I'm just gonna go till I stop. I mean, I was gonna try to go to as close to 2 hours as possible. We still do have some news left.
Do we?
But,
Is it really? Is the world going to end if we don't cover the news?
No, obviously the world is not going to end if we don't cover the news. The world is going to continue to spin, even though they're forcing Biden on us. What are you talking about?
Forcing Biden on us? What does that sound like to you, Jim?
It sounds like, well,
forcing Biden onto
Trump
us.
on us.
I think our guest is going to save the day. So I do see Alan again trying to reconnect. Maybe he's just calling in for internet connection.
Just audio now, yeah. Hey, Alan, how you doing? You with us?
Hello, I'm here. Am I coming through clearly?
Perfect. Yeah, we got you on audio. Yep.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So how's it going? Obviously we've been having ridiculous technical issues all morning. So I'm so confused at what I'm doing right now. I have no idea what the topic was even going to be. So I'm going to give you the floor for a moment to just introduce yourself and what you're all about, what message you're here to share.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much. I came out with a book this week called Face Masks in One Lesson. And I think it's perfect for your guys' audience, for Adam's audience. I've been writing since the lockdown started. I've been writing lots of articles at LouRockwell.com and a bunch of other places, just kind of saying this is a bunch of nonsense, which doesn't have to be said to your audience. And these face masks are nonsense. And my book starts off with a study from a CDC journal pointing out how nonsense the face mask protocols are. That's from May 2020. The journal is called Emerging Infectious Disease. The study is by Xiao, Xiao. I recommend it to anyone who wants more data on the topic. And the book, it's kind of built after Henry Hazlitt's Economics in One Lesson. And it takes about 10 pages to say everything I need to say for whoever reads it to never again wear a face mask, to vow to never again wear a face mask, and to be able to get through every compliance checkpoint unmasked for the rest of their lives. I firmly believe this book has everything they need for that. And the rest of the book, it's for slow learners like me who like to sit down and read a book before they, go out there and live a more free life. And that's what I came on to talk about today. Face masks in one lesson.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, I like that because I'm a big proponent myself of not wearing the mask. Personally, I've made it my personal decision to protest against it and not wear it. I will happily, every business I've been into that tried to force me to wear it, it's usually gotten down to where they say, "Sir, do you have a mask?" I say, "No, I have a medical exemption." And usually they say, "Oh, okay." But every once in a while I get a store who says, "That doesn't matter. You still have to leave unless you have a mask." And I say, "Okay, I'll go somewhere else. I'll take my business elsewhere." And I just refuse to wear it. But it's good to see people and hear people looking up the science behind it so that they're not just saying no. They're actually presenting a reason and logical facts and things for people to consider as to why you shouldn't be wearing them. So what would you say is the most important, what would you call clickbait or whatever? What's the most important fact that you can point out to get somebody to realize the truth about masks?
It's a book full. You're going to get 10 books worth of clickbait in this thing. It is packed with stuff. But one thing, if the information I chose to put on the cover, in the cover illustration, is this detail from a World Health Organization notice about face masks before face masks became political. And it's this. From that same study I cited, that study also cites this World Health Organization statement. If you're going to wear a mask, you got to do it right. And if you don't do it right, it's going to be worse than not wearing a mask. And doing it right means, but honestly, the mask does not work against COVID. There's no question about that right now. The highest quality studies say there's no question that does not do that. But if you're going to wear a mask, you got to follow the protocol. Things like you can't, and tell me, Jim, has anyone ever, if you've ever seen anyone follow the following protocol, please. You're not allowed to touch your nose or your mouth while you're wearing the mask. If you do, you should change the mask immediately. Your hands should be sterile when you put the mask on. Your mask should be sterile. If the mask becomes moist, you should immediately change it. The mask should never be left in the environment around you. It should immediately be disposed of in a sanitary fashion. I personally have never seen anyone do that. I see it hanging from, rear view mirrors and stuffed in people's pockets, or sit on when someone's at a restaurant, which is total nonsense.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% nonsense. And you're absolutely right. It's, if we had, I actually put this on a Facebook post of somebody I was arguing with a couple of days ago. I said, if we actually had a population that was trained in the regular effective use of it, it might make a difference. But because of the fact that we don't, and the fact that the vast majority of these mask wearers are wearing them improperly over and over and over again, and reusing them and touching their face and contamination, et cetera, it's making the problem worse. So the mask mandate is actually making the problem it's trying to solve worse because of the lack of, that's, in reality, let's be honest, how many masks would you go through in a day as one person if you were following the rules to a T? You'd go through a couple boxes just yourself in a normal day's business. So it's not really feasible for every single person in the population to be cycling their masks every time they touch their face and every time they go into a new store and disposing of the old masks. We wouldn't have enough masks in the world to do it properly for every single person to do it properly. You know what I mean?
And Jim, this doesn't even, the fact that the masks are not efficacious, it doesn't even when worn properly, they're not efficacious in preventing the spread of COVID. It doesn't even go into the question of what does it do to the individual wearing it. And this is known for years, that the mask gives nurses headaches. The mask creates low carbon dioxide that OSHA would not approve of in any other high carbon dioxide that OSHA wouldn't approve of in any other work environment inside the mask. It creates low oxygen levels. It leads to shortness of breath in lots of populations. Yolo County, California, 2008. You may have noticed that the poor, desolate state of California has many forest fires. And in 2008, there were a lot of people wearing face masks to stop the forest fire residue, the ash from getting in their lungs when they walked on the street.
The CDC had actually come out and said that those masks that people are using for COVID are not good enough to stop smoke particulates from these fires.
Oh, interesting. In 2008, Yolo County, California was saying these populations, they posted a notice on their website saying, please don't depend so much on face masks. It's super dangerous for certain populations. It's very bad for these reasons. This is 2 years ago. Today, you wouldn't be able to get that same statement out of the health board there, or any health board in California at this moment. But it's long been known, before this was a politicized topic, it's long been known that this is a problem with face masks. And one problem with politicization is that the public health profession is effectively it's not medicine. It's kind of like a Marxist application, a collectivist application of medicine. It's the very opposite of medicine. Medicine is the doctor plus the patient against the world. and what can I do for this patient today? How do I get this patient through the day? How do I do everything I can for this patient? How do I fight for this patient? That's medicine. That's
Yes.
2,500 years of medicine, going back to the Hippocratic Oath and before. And
Yep.
public health comes along in the 1870s, 1880s, when all kinds of horrible progressive ideas came along and said, how do we influence the public? How do we come up with these solutions for everyone, these one size fits all solutions? Totally contrary to the concept of medicine. And here we're learning right now with our free 7-month sample of Corona communism. We're learning right now what it looks like when you take these technocrats in public health and you let them run the country. We're learning that. We're getting the clearest example of why these people deserve zero power. In a crisis, they deserve the least amount of power. So I write Face Masks in One Lesson to demonstrate this and to say, look, these I go through conditions that you have to watch out for. I go through the various checkpoints. I go through some of the theory behind it. And I say, in the grocery store, try this. In the veterinarian, try this. At the doctor, try this. At the dentist, try this. On planes, try this. Many thousands of people have used these already, written me notes, and it works. It's perfect. It's going to be $21.99 down the road, but for the next week, I wanted to do a kind of a introductory so that no one would ever say it's too expensive for them to get. It's $10 right now. And I think a lot of your listeners would like this book. It really goes step by step and says, if you don't know what to do in this situation, Amazon's an easy place to get it. Barnes and Noble, they can get it on. Lulu, they can get it on, and Apple and Google and 100 other sites at least. But Amazon is probably the easiest to do it. And if they want more than 10 copies, they can even write our publishing house to get a discount. Yeah.
Outstanding. Yeah, I'll see if we can't get CJ to put he's pulling it up on the screen there. We're going to add a link for it if we can in the show notes today and the Producers Club. So all of our producers in the Producers Club, the 31 of us or so in there, can definitely check that out. I definitely am going to be checking it out. And once I buy a book, I like to get all the information from it, and then I find someone to give it to that I feel would benefit the most from it, so.
That is the best. These good ideas, they grow stale on bookshelves, If you just stick your book on the bookshelf when you're done, that's dead. And if you do pass it along to someone, that's just, you're doing the author the greatest favor you can, in my opinion.
Yep. That's always how I felt. That's why I don't own a bookshelf. I have a few books, but I just haven't found somebody to give them to yet. Is what I tell myself. I don't. Every once in a while, I dip back into them for just to give them a reread. Some I haven't read in a good while, but most of the time, once I find this one, I imagine myself finding someone very quickly to give it to. Somebody that needs to hear it, There's plenty of people that need to hear it in today's world. So I don't think I'll have a problem giving that one away once I'm done reading it.
I'm honored by that. Jim, are there places that you're seeing the most resistance to you not wearing a face mask?
Let's see. I would say
or is everyone just being chill with you?
Well, I mean, it really depends. I live in a huge metropolis city. I live in the Phoenix area. So I describe it as it all depends on the person working behind the counter.
Mm-hmm.
I say their boss can tell them whatever they want. A Family Dollar can tell their boss. I've literally walked into a business and been told no and adamantly said, I don't care about your medical exemption. Get out of here. You're not allowed to shop here. And went back there the next day and had absolutely no problem with a different employee. Literally the same store. I've done it at AutoZones. Literally the same store. I'll go back in the same place just because they denied me yesterday. I'll still go back in. I'll be just as friendly. And I walk in like I'm not doing anything wrong. Like, I'm just a guy. What are you talking about? Oh, you have to wear a mask. And I wrinkle my eyebrows like, geez, what are you freaking out about? What's your problem? I said, if you're that worried about it, I can go shop at another place, but I just look confused at them to try to plant a seed in their mind. Like, maybe I'm being too hard on people, enforcing the masks and whatnot. And like I said, for me personally, maybe I've been lucky. I don't know. Maybe it's my demeanor or whatnot. I haven't had too many. I've probably been denied maybe a half a dozen, maybe a dozen total times throughout the whole since this whole thing started. Beginning of the year. So
That's great. You know what? Uh, you're changing the world with these little ripples by just saying, I'm going to deal with those 6 or 12 denials over 7
right.
months. And Jim, no one's asking us, no one's saying to us, we need your generation to go spend your Christmas in some fetid French trench, hoping you make it back home one day. And no one's saying to us, you got to go storm Omaha Beach. That's what we're going to do for freedom. No one's telling us any story like that. And no one's making any requirements like that of us, drafting us into anything like that. All you have to do is stand up for yourself a little bit. All you have to do is identify what your boundaries are and communicate your boundaries and be ready to defend your boundaries. And that might mean walking out of the store. And no one's forcing us to do anything. We get this amazing opportunity to choose to do it. And there's so many people like you rising to the occasion. And it's so beautiful. And it's so good for us. And I wonder if I can kind of, motivate even more people to do that. And this is why I wrote Face Mask in One Lesson, and to have a little bit of an excuse to come visit your show and to be able to communicate things like that. This is really, it's so simple. And it's, people worry right now about, oh, what if they don't like me because of my opinion, or what if people gang up on me on Facebook and things like this. And this is so petty to even worry about. This is, like you said, you don't really care that you've been denied 12 times. Who cares? And it just requires, I think, to help encourage people to not care about someone not liking you, not care about you offending or angering someone, but just speaking from your heart about your own boundaries and what you need and communicating that. In almost every situation, the other person will say yes.
Yep. I'll tell you this. I've had a better experience using like nonviolent communication, like Marshall Rosenberg's book, than being aggressive. Like me not caring and walking out of the store. If a person says you need to wear a mask and I'm like, oh come on, that's ridiculous, and I react in that negative way, like challenging them, I would surely, that in the beginning, I'll be honest, that's kind of where I was going with it. I was upset and I was reacting negatively when somebody, I'll piss on your mask. I ain't doing nothing. I got a medical exemption. I was being combative because of it. And I found over time that switching to a nonviolent strategy and just being super calm about it and open and willing to go elsewhere with a more relaxed demeanor, gets way more. I've literally had people say, well, just get what you're going and hurry up. You know what I mean? Like I've had people say you can't go, and I say, okay, I'll go somewhere else, no worries. And they'll say, well, just, what are you here for? And they'll let me shop anyways. Even, it's like they feel bad about asking me to leave. You have to you have to ask the question, or you have to be willing to leave to be able to cause that. If I would have just said okay and put a mask on, that guy never would have thought another thing about it. He'd have felt like he's doing the right thing. But because I was like, okay, well, I'll go somewhere else, the guy was forced to question himself, and he knows deep down somewhere that would be the reason this particular individual was saying, well, what are you getting? And he didn't want to let me leave because he knew he was kind of being a jerk. You know what I mean? He felt like he had to be, and I was being all nice about it, but that was where he was coming with that. So like you said, I appreciate you saying your kind words about me standing up. I said once on Facebook, I just feel that the inconvenience of the 12 places that have kicked me out, to me, is worth standing up for what I believe in. You know what I mean? It's facing an inconvenience here or there is worth it to me, and that's just who I am.
You're so
Take it
right.
for what it is.
You're so right. And the idea that you want to use NVC and nonviolent communication with people coming at you like that, that's beautiful, man. Like, right. That's such a loving thing to do, and such a de-escalating thing to do. And, you're kind of recognizing where they're coming from. They're trying to do their job. That's not the best reason to do things all the time, but, you're putting yourself in their shoes a little when you do that. And one kind of technique I point to is, so a lot of people, they've never taken the time to even Google their local face mask order. Usually it's a county that has it. There's more than 3,000 counties in the US, and these county public health officials have become very powerful during COVID. And it's, I don't know how they're even going to give that power back, but we'll see. Every county, I don't know every county. I assume every county at this point has a public health order. It's very easy to see. Some cities also additionally have public health orders. States have public health orders. Then there's a CDC public health order. And you can read all these. You can Google them easily. And almost every one of them, not almost, I don't know about almost. I've read hundreds now. Every one that I have read has exemptions in it. And those exemptions might be as simple as Sonoma County, California, that says if a mask causes you difficulty breathing. I mean, that's what masks do. If a mask causes you difficulty breathing, you have a medical exemption. I wonder how many people in Sonoma County know that, that if they have trouble breathing from a mask, they are invited by their county to not wear a mask again. And this, this is a detail. It can be said, of course, we expect our public servants like Fauci to watch out for our best interests. But we know if we fall asleep on the job and stop keeping an eye on people like that, they don't watch out for our best interests. Government seldom watches out for our best interests. And it's not your oppressor's fault that you are so oppressible, a wise man said to me one time. And this is good for all of us to kind of keep in mind that if we fall asleep on our rights, it's our fault. If we don't stand up for ourselves, if we don't identify our boundaries and communicate our boundaries and defend our boundaries, that's our fault. And we aren't at tyranny yet, because these mask orders all have these exemptions in them that are a mile wide. Anyone who wants to, and my book kind of goes through this process. It's an important part of the book. I far prefer people saying, I'm not wearing that. That thing's stupid. I'll go somewhere else. I far prefer that. But not everyone's there. So for people who want to follow the rules and figure out where their loophole is, there's all these public health orders. And then every private company has the order. You just need to ask for the order in writing. You read the order. Then you say to the manager, look, right here, there's my medical exemption. See, I'm following the rules. It's simple, simple, simple. And I go through that. Face masks, in one lesson it's called, I go through that over and over again in many situations. The first 10 pages are that's the meat of the book. And then I elaborate on it, kind of like Hazlitt did.
Yeah. I can't wait to read it. That's a interesting point. You point out that the stores are have the stuff written. Like some stores have it right outside, and the fine print is even right there. Like Best Buy is one I'm thinking of that freaked out when I went in without a mask, and they were like, well, we can take your order, tell us what you want while you're standing in. They you know how they have the doors go open and then there's another set of doors, so there's like a little just a rectangular
they
in
wanted
between
you
two
to
doors
stand in there.
area. You know what I mean? Yeah, they wanted me to stand in there. So I was like, so now you have me standing in a place where everybody's walking through to come in and out of the store. So you'd literally put me right in the traffic of every single customer. And you think I'm a danger. So that I said, okay. Besides that ridiculousness, I went and stood, and where he had me stand, I was right in front of a sign, and I read the sign, and on the bottom it said, customers with health conditions will still be welcome to shop. It literally said right on there, and I was like, oh, this is genius. I literally walked right back into the store. I said, I need you for a second. Can you come read this? And I explained to the guy, I said, he says, well, this is exactly what he says. He says, I understand that, but we're just following what the state says. And I said, this is what the state says. I said, that's why it's written right here on your sign, because you took that from the state's order. I said, I could pull it up on my phone if you want me to right now, but that's what the state's order says, and that's why your sign says it. And he still was just refusing. But it's almost as if the government put these out as a test to see what percentage of the population is smart enough to understand loopholes. You know what I mean? To understand that they just said you don't really have to follow it. You know,
The how you said the government, maybe the government put it out to test people. That's possible. And another possibility, there might not be any kind of conspiracy. There could just be it's what people who are bullies, or even they might even be sociopathic. That's an overused word. Maybe people who are bullies. I'll just use the word bullies. People who are bullies, what they do, it's why we call them bullies. They push and push and push until there's resistance. And if you encounter a bully at the face mask compliance checkpoint, if you say yes to the face mask, one day he's going to be able to say to you, I want you to wear goggles too. And if you say yes, he's going to say, I want you to jump around the store on one foot. That's what protects people from COVID. And if you say yes, he's going to say, I want you to bring me home to spit in your mother's dinner, because that protects people from COVID, right? The bully keeps growing and growing and growing. That's just the nature. When you let yourself be so oppressible, when you don't say, I don't agree with what you're saying, and I'm not going to do that right now. Thank you very much. If you can't say those simple things to identify and communicate and defend your boundaries, then you're welcoming this natural push, right? Power moves into a vacuum. Wherever there's a vacuum of power, power moves into it. And many people, out of fear, a lot of people, they don't know what they're doing. They're totally frightened. There's $1 trillion media machine working against them and manipulating them that wants ratings, and they're getting their ratings. So we've allowed ourselves to create this little bit of power vacuum, and the tyrant is happily stepping right in there.
Yep. And absolute power corrupts absolutely, is what I think of when you were talking that.
So true. So I go through.
Shall take a mile, right?
Oh, totally. Right. That's the idea behind freedom. You get the freedoms you demand. You get the freedoms that you make sure happen. And the other freedoms, when Dirty Bush said the Constitution is just a piece of paper, that's true. If you don't make that thing not just a piece of paper, it's just a piece of paper. Dirty Bush was right.
Yeah. Well, it is just a piece of paper, but like I understand where you're going with that. Like that doesn't mean that you still have to. Like let's put it this way: if you stood up for your inalienable human rights that we all know and agree each other should have, then a lot of the things on that piece of paper would be relevant. It would align with that. But we should stand up for those things whether or not it's written on a piece of paper or not.
So right.
Obviously.
And it's just, that piece of paper, it's an easy way for us to say these are some shared values that should be upheld. And then for us to have other discussions saying, and then there's other shared values we should uphold too, right? It's a tool, just like any other tool.
What would you think about an official, not that this would ever happen, but what would you think about the hypothetical rewriting of the Constitution to be put in like layman's terms or obvious terms, to be put in plain English, so to speak, and not written in political speech? You know what I mean?
There's all kinds of things, all kinds of organizations in the world that I like that talk about things like how to eat in a way that your grandparents might have eaten. Like there's you go to the store and there's eggs with 53 adjectives on them, like grass-fed, free range, I don't know, you got organic, non-GMO, you get all these adjectives on the egg carton, and that's like a frou-frou yuppie kind of thing, you could say. But 100 years ago, that was just an egg. Our society changed the definition of what an egg is. This thing that we call an egg is raised in a way that our great grandparents would have been totally foreign to them. So in many, many ways, the present society has divorced itself from wisdom. And this is wisdom of the ages, going back hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years. And you can say there's all kinds of ways that wisdom is transmitted through generations. And you could call it religion, you could call it philosophy, you could call it ethics, you could just call it libraries, right? There's all kinds of ways wisdom can be transferred. being raised by parents who were connected to their parents' wisdom, that could be a way it's transferred. Having elders around you and mentors, that could be a way wisdom is transferred. Our generation hates wisdom. Our generation loves trendiness. And trendiness and wisdom, they're not mutually exclusive of each other, but they almost always are. So when you say, what do you think of a rewrite? I wouldn't rewrite in this era. There's zero I would rewrite from the past. Rewrite is some Orwellian thing to do. But if you rewrite it in common terms, I will help you distribute that happily. But making the government keep that thing on display that was written 250 years ago, whenever it was, I don't, those founding fathers, they had some real foibles, but they at least came from an era that had a little bit of respect for wisdom. And I appreciate that in a way that I really, that is the thing that so dismays me about our era right now. The hatred of wisdom, the love of trends.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's an interesting take on that. Yeah. I would, yeah, I see where you're saying about because it's a couple hundred years old, you know, like rewriting it. I don't mean to rewrite that actual document, but write something else that says what it's trying to say, you know. Like something as simple as it could be one page, you know, basically the no victim, no crime. You know what I mean? That should be like what's the rule, what's the law of the land in America? No victim, no crime. Everything else can be settled outside of that framework. You know what I mean?
Yo, I think you should tell yourself that by Monday 7 a.m. you're going to have your plain language circa 2020 version of the Constitution written, and you and I should get it up online on Monday. That's what I think we should do. That's my, I will figure out that part of it if you'll write it. I know you might have other things to do, but if you really love that idea, I think you should do it right now. I think you should do it this weekend. That's my personal belief. I think it's a great idea. You just said no victim, no crime. That's beautiful.
Yeah, well, I didn't make it up, so you know, it's a pretty popular libertarian philosophy. But yeah, maybe I'll work on something like that. This is your book, CJ. Somebody in the chat was asking what the name of the book was. Face Masks in One Lesson is the name of the book. He wasn't just describing his book by saying that. That is the title of the book. You can find that on Amazon, many other sources, but I hear Amazon is the best way probably to get a hold of it, right?
I think
and you better get it now because it's cheaper right now. It's $10 right now. It's on sale because of its grand releaseal price, right? Or whatever you call that.
Yes. The other reason to get a hold of it, I hope I'm wrong, but there's a lot of things that get banned today. And I'd sure like to get as many copies in as many people's hands before I have to go up against big tech trying to censor the idea.
Yeah, this is interesting because I mean, I feel like it's definitely something that would be censored on YouTube. Like if I did a whole show about your book and reading quotes from it and everything, I would probably get in trouble on YouTube for something or other, like Adam has been in the, like when Adam talked about the false positives. But it's interesting, you putting it out in a book like that, yeah, it's probably going to take the censors a little bit longer to catch on to, oh shit, we got to censor authors, you know.
Yeah, we'll see about that. That's the number one reason. That's why I would say Face Mask in One Lesson, get it now. And like you said, $10 right now. And hey, I could also send CJ an email address. It's the sales email address, or if someone wants to buy bulk copies for their family or something for Christmas, it'll be even, they can get an even more reduced price than that. This title, Face Mask One Lesson. Do you know Henry Hazlitt by chance? Do you know who I'm speaking of when I say that?
I don't.
Oh,
Unfortunately.
This is great, man. So just like you using NVC with someone yelling at you who perhaps disagrees with you totally, you know, you're kind of like calming down things and bringing us to like a little bit more like America used to be, where dissenting opinion, it's not always been perfect, but dissenting opinion was kind of understood to be American. And Henry Hazlitt writes this fantastic free market book, Economics in One Lesson. And it's like, I don't know, maybe the first chapter is 10 pages or something. And he kind of tells you everything you need to know about economics in a few pages. And then he spends the rest of the book going through, I don't know, maybe one is about like the natural gas market. He applies it to the natural gas market, or he applies it to tariffs. And he says, these are the ways to apply the concepts of free markets and why it's beneficial to you in this specific situation. So I take the concept and do the same thing. Hazlitt was this hardcore free market dude, and really just wonderful, clear writer. I bet you would never guess where Hazlitt worked in the 1950s with his free market ideas. A place that you'd get fired from today if you even bring up the free market. Any? Do you want to guess? Do you want to guess at all?
NSA. I don't know.
Oh, that's a
one of the alphabet agencies.
Henry Hazlitt worked at the New York Times. So libertarian or conservative, he could probably be described as either. Free market, and he wrote editorials. He would write signed and unsigned editorials for the New York Times. So when it's the opinion of the paper, the opinion of the editorial board, you would have this hardcore free market dude writing these opinions at the New York Times in the 1950s. Really just a fantastic thinker. And it just kind of demonstrates a little bit of the sadness of our time. I mean, the New York Times, never perfect, but wonderful institution once upon a time, if you ask me. And today you cannot have a Hazlitt working there, sadly.
Wow. Yeah, that was back when journalism was real, and people weren't afraid of the machine, the oligarchy machine, stomping them out, censoring them.
They've always been liars. They've lied all the time, but there were a few more voices, I think, in journalism that kind of stop some of the liars. And like there was a war, there were wars. The journalists, the newspaper, they've always gotten us into trouble as a country, but so be it. It's wonderful to think of Hazlitt at the New York Times. It's wonderful to think of you using NVC with a guy yelling at you at the door. It's beautiful stuff you're telling me.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I can't wait to read them. Yeah, I've got 2 to read now. Adam was pointing that out, Economics in One Lesson. Apparently he's familiar with that. So I'll definitely be checking both of those out. And I just want to point out, they talked to me backstage. They wanted to let you know that we will be getting you back on with Adam after Thanksgiving break, and to get and you should get with Marcus and we can reschedule. Also, CJ wanted to apologize about the authentication issues today.
That's totally cool with me. I'm so happy I didn't have to cancel. I'm thrilled to have had this conversation with you.
Yeah, me too, man. I was a little bit nervous because I always feel like it's Adam's show, and I know you were expecting to talk to Adam, so I always wonder how the guest is going to feel, and I don't know. I'm not as intellectually good as Adam
what is this? Hold on.
I don't articulate things as well.
Hold on. What is the story you are telling yourself, Jim? What is the story you're telling yourself?
I'm still in practice mode for my articulation of deep philosophical concepts.
Well, I think you're holding a great interview here. The earlier parts of the show I heard, I think were fantastic too. So I don't know. Maybe that story might need a little adjusting that you're telling yourself.
Well, I appreciate that. I'll look into that. I'll see what I can do about that self-esteem issue.
Hey, I'd like your listeners, the individual listener hearing this, I beg of you today, right now, to vow to never wear a face mask again. Really to tell yourself, no matter what happens, I am not putting that face mask on. This is, you are sending the world so many horrible signals when you put on that face mask. Things we have not talked about here, but it's just, as a free person, you should not be wearing that thing. I go through ways, if you don't know how to not do that, and I think probably everyone in their heart knows how to just stop doing something that they don't like. But If you don't know how to do it, my book can be a crutch for you. Face Masks in One Lesson, it's called. But please, whatever you do, book or no book, whatever, please stop wearing that face mask. Please.
Interesting. It's a scary thing for a lot of people. So I look forward to your book, at least giving some people some more knowledge to take in to make their own decisions on it. You know. So we are getting close to the end of the show here, Alan. I do appreciate you coming in, and this has been a great interview. Like I said, I can't wait to read it. I'm gonna be ordering it right now. I would be actually, but I don't want to interrupt the show. So, is there any final thoughts that you want to give to our audience, or to make this interview complete?
Yeah. After in my 20s, after I graduated from school, I went to Central Europe. I taught English there for a while. I lived there for a while, and I was totally obsessed with communism. I wanted to learn how it happened. I lived in former Czechoslovakia, and it made no sense to me how it was a very prosperous country. It was a stable. It was the only stable democracy from World War I to World War II in Europe, in that part of Europe, and people suddenly found themselves living in a communist country. And it was 1948. There were some stolen elections. The communists took power. There were thugs in the street. There were thugs in the government, and they were telling the people to do all kinds of crazy things. And some people fought, and some people watched complacently. Some people left the country, and they didn't know how long. The complacent people, they didn't know how long it would last. They knew they could just get comfortable with it and live with it. And it became horrible. And for 41 years, it was horrible. It was horrible for 41 years. I wonder what the children of 1989 would say to their parents of 1948 about why didn't they fight harder? Why didn't they do more? Why? Why didn't they do more? You could have saved all this trouble for these children and all this horror for the world. And the children of 2061, what are they going to say to you right now? What are they going to say if they could be here saying to you, why didn't you do more? Were you busy watching TV? Were you busy working an extra hour? Were you busy worrying about what everyone thought about you? This is a moment. This is a turning point in history. This is a crucial moment. There is a corona communism in our country already. It is more pronounced than what took place in the USSR in numerous ways. And this is the moment. The future is being shaped at this moment. And I don't know if it'll end after 41 years. It ended for those people after 41 years because there wasn't such total mechanistic control over society the way it is now. I don't know if this year will last 1 year or 10 years or 1,000 years. It could last any of those. But this is the moment. Once you've passed the point of no return, whatever you want to do at that moment, whatever your protest is, it means nothing. It's futile. It only matters before you reach the point of no return. I think we are not past the point of no return. Not wearing the face mask, it's the first step to not doing that. The first step to not complying. The first step to being disobedient, as Thoreau says, is what a free man does, to be disobedient. And if you wear that face mask, I know you will take that vaccine. If you wear that face mask, I know you will do all kinds of horrible things, or consent to them, or agree to them, or let them happen while you look the other way. I beg of you not to wear the face mask.
Outstanding. Well said. Yeah, it's definitely something to be said about if you're willing to wear the masks now, will you be willing? Where do you draw the line? You have to draw the line somewhere. So it'd be easiest on you if you draw the line at masks, because then you'll be able to see everything else for what it really is, you know. But if you buy into it enough to mask up at all times, then what else are you going to buy? Are you going to buy the legitimacy of the reasons why you need to put that needle in your arm? And, you know, just so I don't know. Yeah, you've given our audience a lot of great information and a lot to think about. Craig Doherty points out, he says, we made great points. you've really reached them. I think you're going to get a couple of sales from your book out of here. And it says right there the Kindle price is $4.99. And you can get the paperback for 10. So if you buy it digitally, you can get it for $4.99 and read that. The face masks in one lesson. So again, Alan, thank you very much for everything. This has been an awesome interview. I can't wait to have you back on when I'm as Comment Jim Freedom, and here you have this same discussion with Adam, and see where it goes from there. So thank you again for joining us, Alan.
Jim, thank you and the team so much. I've had such a wonderful time. Thank you.
Very welcome. See you next time. Okay, so there we are at 2 hours. That was an awesome guest. I loved that conversation. I'm definitely going to get that book, like I said. And we got to do some promos and wrap this up for a nice Friday so we can get everybody to their Thanksgiving festivities. So please visit adamversusman.com, and from there you can see the Patreon link that will give you access to our $1, $5, $10, or even $50 a month membership levels. The $10 a month is where it's at, because that gets you access to our producers club, so you can talk and have fun. And everybody, I just read it. Adam said he's ready now. Let's get Adam back on. Let's switch back to Adam versus Man. He can close his own show out. Yay! We got a call in. It's Adam. What's up, brother?
Can you hear me okay? All right, thanks everybody. Thank you, Jim. That was a fun show. It was really nice to be able to watch the show as Adam versus the Man while watching Jim versus the Man. So thanks for, and you know, Alan, if you're still plugged in, that was a great interview. And I know it's like tough challenges today, pre-Thanksgiving, a lot of fishy stuff. By the way, I gotta point out just another little glitch in the matrix. I commented on YouTube and it didn't show up in our StreamYard chat, and I wonder if it's because I used the B word sarcastically. Our friend Don't Be a Statist said in the chat, I'm not trying to guess another copyright strike. And I said, did Karen copyright her name? That bitch. Obviously, it's a pretty obvious joke. But are we not allowed to talk about female dogs? Is that now a thing? Like our bitch dog at home, she's such a princess, such a wonderful little bitch. But no, you can't use that word because the censors are paranoid about it. I don't know, Jim. Anyway, you're right. We're gonna get Alan back on. We'll do like a TV production version of that interview post Thanksgiving when he's got a little more response to his book. And yeah, I'm really glad we got to do it. It's unfortunate that we're doing it on this tech challenge day, but we persevere, adapt, improve, overcome. And I'm glad that our audience got that little conversation about masks before we go into our Thanksgiving week of God knows what's going to happen for Black. Are we still having stampedes? Are we still doing the Black Friday stampedes at Walmart? Because I'm really.
Can you imagine the crowd inside of Walmart literally filing in for that $100 TV, but they're all staying distance?
We're gonna fight over this Tickle Me Elmo doll, but for as long as we can, we're just gonna bump knuckles from 6 feet apart. So or 3 feet apart, we'd still fight over toys.
Whoever's knuckles bleed first loses.
I'm looking forward to coming back after Thanksgiving, full coverage with better internet and making sure that this show can still be everything it needs to be to give you an accurate view on the news. Jim, you did a great job getting to the critical stories today, although there's a lot of other fun stuff. There's a lot of timeless stuff. Sometimes I wish the show was 8 hours a day. I could just sit and read all the news that I want and ramble about everything and share all the beauty of the world without having to do a little bit of this news digestion. Here's what you don't really need to be paranoid about that's in the mainstream media today. But with that, Jim, any final thoughts before we formally sign off?
Yeah, that people should make sure to visit the store, where if they're a member of the Producers Club or the Better Patrons, they get 15% off and free shipping. And while they're in that cool merch, they can be smoking on a nice cigar from the cigarfederation.com, where they use promo code Adam10, all caps, Get yourself 10% off of any cigar of your flavor choice, whatever floats your boat. These things are smooth and delicious. I know from personal experience. So with that being said, that's it. Wrap them up. Give them your love and send them off. Oh, makethemdebate.com. Also, my bad. Forgot one. Whoops. Makethemdebate.com. Go there. Have fun with that. You know the deal. Adam, show your people love.
I don't know. People are cutting in and out here, but I'll just peace and love, y'all. Choose happiness and be excellent to each other.